This problem is a good example of the process that we talked about for word problems, where if we don't know what to do, it's not crazy just to make a guess and then think about what we had to do to check the guess, and that should enlighten us as to how to set up the word problem. And so I refer to that as step one, is make sure you understand the question, and a good strategy for doing that is just guess. So let's guess 70 is the answer to the question. That's the score that she gets on the final exam. In some sense, it's good to guess things that are, that's not going to be right, because we want to, we really want to pay attention to what we have to do to check the answer, rather than sort of get excited about whether that answer is right or not. Okay, so it says that the final exam will count as two tests, and it gives us the other test. And so in order to have an average of 80, that means we're averaging 77, 82, 72, 59, 92. Those are those are her other scores that are given up here. And then we guessed that she made a 70 on the final. And so that means we factor we're going to factor we're going to put 70 in here twice. It says the final exam gets counted twice. And so I should be averaging this list of numbers. Now the way I average things is I add them up, and I divide by the number that there are. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 over 7, and I see, is that equal to 80? Right, that's what it wants me to have. So if you do that calculation, if you add up 72, 82, 72, 59, 92, whatever, divide by 7, and ask yourself, is that 80? The answer is no, it won't be 80. But that's not really the point. The point is that now we understand how to set the problem up. So instead of our guess being 70 on the final, let x equal the score on the final. And now we're going to average, just like we did before. We're now averaging 77, 82, 72, 59, 92, and x, and another x. So instead of averaging the particular 7 numbers in my guess, I'm averaging the 7 numbers in step 2, but 2 of those numbers are represented by x. How do I average? Exactly the same way I did with numbers. Right? Most of the time, whatever you do with numbers is the same thing you're going to do with variables. And so, so that's what the average of those 7 numbers will be. The sum of the numbers divided by 7 happens to have x in there a couple of times. And our goal, remember, what I would call step 3 is what do I want to happen. So I don't have room to write that as a separate step, so I'm just going to say here, I want the average to be 80. Right? That's what I was checking against when I found out that my guess was wrong up here. I found the average and checked it against 80. So my step 2 and 3 here are to set this thing up as the average should be in terms of x, and my goal is to have that equal to 80. So step 4 then is just solve that equation. And this will be a linear equation. The first step, well, probably the first step is to add up as much as you can on the top, because you'll have a bunch of numbers together plus 2x in the numerator there, right? Whatever that adds up to plus 2x. So your numerator can be written a lot better than that. Over 7 equals 80. Multiply both sides by 7. That'll clear the fractions, and now you'll have an easy equation to solve.